A beautiful view overlooking Bathurst as we get ready to go racing. Nick Sorensen and Ellis Johnson have the front row. Max Gunther and David Gallant on the second row. Mike Dalling and Adam Barker on the third row. Andrew Lau, Simon Zierk on the fourth. Rudolph Gunther, Roman Berg round out the top 10. Bradley Loving starting in 11th. Interestingly, I don't know if Loving's got any practice in. He only got one lap completed in qualifying, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does in the early laps here. Also interesting to note, the drivers did tell me it takes 5 to 6 laps to really get the tires to grip the way you want them and get to your optimal lap times. But by about lap 10, the tires are just about melted. It is Australia, the track temp 134 degrees. It's a hot one out there this morning. All right, the Porsche pace car leads them around. And once the pace car ducks in, Sorensen is in control. He can fire anytime. They go through the final turn. And Sorensen fires there away. The green flag flies as they head toward turn 1. Oh, Barker is way wide. They head down the long straight toward the right-hander that takes them up the mountain. And here's where the walls start to close in and things get very tight. And a mistake up front would impact the entire field. Especially through here, we've got cars too wide. Oh, a little contact. Max Gunther, David Gallant battling for third up the mountain. This is gutsy. Gallant gets the wall. And I think he was signaling his displeasure. Sorensen still up front, but Ellis all over his bumper. Now coming into the straight, interestingly, the Porsche definitely does not have the most straight line speed. Ellis with that eye downforce setup will be slower. Max Gunther is in trouble. Whoa, big one, several cars involved. Mike Dalling, Adam Barker are in it. We'll take a look at the lap 1 incidents here in a moment, but Roman Berg, Max Gunther, Mike Dalling have all gone to pit road. Bradley Lovings is going to pit road. Wow, what a start. Nick Sorensen will lead lap 1 with Ellis on his bumper, David Gallant in third. Andrew Lau now in 4th, Simon in 5th, Rudolph in 6th. Adam Barker in 7th, but heavily damaged. And let's see if we can get a look at some of these lap 1 incidents. All right, taking a look at Adam Barker coming to turn 1. Oh, he Ellis went a little bit wide to avoid Doling. Then up on the mountain, coming down. Whoa! Heavy contact between Gallant and Max. Max clips Doling. Adam gets a piece. Wow, Gallant gets a piece. Bradley Lovings gets a piece. After that, it became a bit of a dogfight. David Gallant had a bunch of damage. Or, I'm sorry, that is Roman Berg. Further down, everybody has recovered from that. Mike Doling just overshoots hard into the wall. Adam Barker has nowhere to go. Max catches a piece of it. See if we can get another angle. Did Doling just hit the brakes at the wrong moment? Oh, he just massively overshot it. Adam gets into it. Max can't avoid it either. And then a moment later, Bradley Lovings, who did get caught up in that, he has significant damage. Looks like he takes it in. Nick Sorensen and Ellis Johnson out front still. Ellis Johnson just set the fastest lap in second. David Gallant back in third, about 5 seconds back. Andrew Lau currently in fourth, Simon Zierke in fifth. Surprisingly, both of those cars look like minimal to no damage despite avoiding all that chaos. Rudolph Gunther in sixth, minimal damage to that car. Adam Barker in seventh has significant damage but has not gone in. He's going to try and stick it out. Bradley Lovings back out on track in eighth. Roman Berg in ninth. Max Gunther and Mike Doling both still on pit road. And you have to tow it in here. It's a long, long tow. As I mentioned earlier, the Porsche does not have a lot of straight line speed, and Ellis driving that high downforce setup, also lacking in straight line speed. Both of these cars, though, doing exceptionally well up and down the mountain. Ellis keeps peeking, looking for a gap, can't get there. David Gallant, 5.1 seconds back. He loses ground on the mountain, but picks a lot of it back up on the straights. Andrew Lau in fourth, Simon Zierke in fifth. Those two almost nose to tail. Rudolph Gunther back in sixth, has Barker in seventh, about 2 seconds back. Ellis set the fastest lap again last time by. Well, the smartest move Ellis could make here is staying in it in the slipstream until the final lap, paying attention and looking for his opportunity. I will tell you, a lot of the drivers were giving Ellis a little bit of grief running that high downforce setup, but it appears he outsmarted them all. Definitely going to be interesting when the top seven invert for race two. Right now, that'll put Adam Barker on the pole for race 2. Adam is losing ground to Rudolph. That dam is really slowing him down. Roman Bird currently in 9th. Bradley Lovings in 8th. Bradley way behind Barker, about a minute 24 back, but he is actually gaining on Barker rather quickly. Have to keep a close eye on that one. The leader's about to be in lap traffic, but let's ride up and down the mountain with Ellis so you guys can see just how tight this track really gets. Alright, right on the back bumper of Sorensen. Staying right in that slipstream. Lap car ahead as they make the right-hander and begin to head up the mountain. Right on that little rumble strip. Headed into the first tight left-hander. Whoa, they get close. Ellis having to be extremely careful not to get into the bumper of the Porsche. And you can see from above it looks like there's a lot of space on the track. And when you're in the car, you know there just ain't. Even in smaller cars like the MX-5, going around here is still extremely tight. One slip of concentration, you're in one of those walls. Ellis and Nick doing an amazing job coming down the mountain. Neither of them getting the walls at any point, and then they head onto the backstretch. Good morning, animal. Sorry, animal, blurps don't work during the races, and I haven't figured out how to disable them. Halfway through race 1, and the top 2 have really checked out. David Gallant now 5.5 seconds back. Andrew Lau another 5 seconds back with Simon right there as Max Gunther is on his way back out. Hey, good morning, JR. Simon Zierk in 5th, Rudolph Gunther in 6th, now just 1.8 seconds back. He is gaining on the 2 cars ahead. Coming up the mountain, I suspect that Porsche is going to gain even more ground. Sorensen did set the fastest lap so far last time by 2:05.4, but Ellis still right behind. Rudolph Gunther still on the attack, back in 6th place and closing the gap on the 2 cars ahead. Through these tight turns, that Porsche definitely faster than the Mustang and the BMW. As Rudolph now just 9/10 of a second behind Simon. top two still nose to tail. Ellis wisely waiting to make his move. Ellis had the fastest lap this time and beat Nix by 1/100th of a second. Gallant in third, losing ground, but he still has a 5.4 second gap on Lau. Rudolph Gunther has caught the bumper of the BMW of Simon Zier. Andrew Lau just ahead in fourth. Rudolph's first job is to get past Simon. Will he make the move on the mountain where he has the advantage? If you're going to make the move on the mountain, you definitely want to have it set up so you can make it quickly. It is so easy to get side by side. If you're stuck side by side on the mountain, things can go wrong quickly. Oh, Rudolph, whoa, went way wide, kissed the wall. And he lost a lot of ground on Andrew and Simon. Rudolph now 2.2 seconds back from one small mistake. Sorensen had the faster lap that time. Both drivers had, oh, Ellis goes wide at a 1. Rudolph is gaining ground again on Lau and Simon. When we hit the final lap, I think these three are going to have quite a battle. We're also going to see quite a bit of a fight up front. Sorensen is pulled away from Ellis. I'm wondering if Ellis got a bit of a slowdown. I didn't see it. But he definitely lost some ground coming out of turn 1 going wide. He's 1.1 seconds back. But I'd say he's closing back in rapidly if he doesn't kiss the wall. Just a little kiss. But it was enough to cost him quite a bit of ground. Now 2.1 seconds back. Meanwhile, Rudolph is closed back in about 1.5 seconds back. Roman Berg, we talked about, Bradley Lovings. He has gained over 8 seconds on Adam Barker, still a minute 16 back. Ellis has had a problem. Ellis has had a big problem. He slipped to third. Ellis was pushing and trying to close back in. Oh, just takes the final turn too hot and backs it into the wall. Oh, and a close call for the cars behind. Ouch. And Bradley Lovings has had an issue. He's gone to pit road. Bradley just starting up the mountain. And looks like he just pulled over. He had some issues earlier. He towed it in. Nick Sorensen now has a 10-second lead on David Gallant. Andrew Lau now in third. Simon Zierk and Rudolph Gunther right there with him. Rudolph has caught back up. Ellis has slipped to 7th and is taking it in. And it looks like Ellis is out of the race as Nick Sorensen picks up the white flag one more time around. He's got enough of a lead. He can play it a little bit safe going up the mountain this time. David Gallant currently in second, has a 7.5-second gap on third place. Andrew Lau, but the battle for third really heating up. Andrew Lau has it for the moment, but Simon Zierk and Rudolph Gunther both right there. Lau may be able to hold them off once they hit the straight. It's going to be close. And sadly, folks, it was tested during practice, and the Bathurst jump does not work, so we will not get to see that celebration today. But here he comes into the final turn. Nick Sorensen gets it done. He'll win race 1 at Bathurst. David Gallant marches his way up into second. And a very, very close third for Andrew Lau. And let's get a word with our top 3 before going into race 2. Andrew, you come home in third, and it got a little bumpy at certain times.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of bumping going on in front of me. Not sure how I wound up with third, but I'll take it.
It definitely it got a little spicy. Rudolph caught up to you and Simon there a couple of times, but had a couple of mistakes that set him back. Could you have held him off if he had come for the attack?
Yeah, overtaking is generally pretty tough around here, so I would have definitely made him work for it at least.
Well, you didn't have to. You held everybody off. A great finish. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug. Ford power.
No. They always got to squeeze in the Ford thing. David Gallant comes home in second. And it does not appear Gallant is currently available. So we'll talk to our winner, and if we get a chance, we'll talk to Gallant. Well, Nick, you come home with the win, but most of that race, you were having to drive in the mirror.
Yeah, for sure. Ellis was doing a great job. That Lambo was going pretty good. My only saving grace was that I was getting a better launch out of the forest elbow. I was able to keep a little bit of distance.
It definitely got spicy a few times up the mountain. We rode along with Ellis, and he was right on your bumper there for quite a while and really ran up. Had there been any contact we didn't see?
No, there was no contact. It was just great racing. Yeah, he was pretty quick, and like I said, I was just doing a little bit better there at Forest Elbow. You know, getting a better launch, getting a better, breaking down into there. Got to be real tricky there on that downhill, and then just making sure to get a good launch because I knew that was the only way I was going to stay ahead.
Well, man, it was a heck of a battle. Now you got to come through from 7th on a notoriously difficult to pass track, and knowing there was some chaos behind you, does your strategy change?
Just keep it ultra safe. Hopefully we get a couple accidents that I can avoid. And I don't know, maybe a little fuel saving coming into play, but we'll have to see about that.
It is a very hot track this morning. Will there be tire changes today?
I don't suspect so. I think I just keep it going. The lap times are going to be slow as long as you're careful, and I think you'll do all right.
Well, man, great job. Congrats on the win, buddy.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Doug.
Nick Sorensen pulls off the win. And David Gallant, unfortunately, not available. And surprisingly, nobody is coming out for warm-up. Looks like everybody trying to catch their breath before they go into race 2. A much longer race, and strategy is going to be key. Does look like Ellis may roll out. Or not. Or Rudolph Gunther is going to come out, try and put in a lap here. Surprised nobody's coming out to practice the pit road entry here. As always, folks, if you have a favorite driver in the field, don't forget to drop in the comments. Let us know who you're cheering for. And don't forget, tonight at 9:30 Eastern, SMR is back. They are in the 87s for the winter season. That's going to be a lot of fun. Those 87s can get to be a handful. Can the Dominator dominate another season, or will somebody unseat him? All right, Jason Leonard did not get to join us for the race this morning. He doesn't have the track, but he is available. Let's see what his prediction is. Hey, Jason, it's Doug. You got me?
Yep.
Hey,
Doug.
I have to ask, you watched race number 1, so going into race 2, what are your expectations?
I expect some carnage on the first trip up the mountain. I do believe that we're going to run into hot tires, especially about 15, 17 minutes into it. I believe Ellis, as long as he can stay off those curbs, was able to stay really, really well up front. So it's if he can hold the track, stay off the curbs, he's got a shot, I think, to move through the field fairly quickly. But our race winner didn't show a lot of weakness in that first 20-minute race.
Definitely didn't. It's time to find out. We may talk to you again, buddy. Have some fun watching it.
Sounds great.
All right, Jason Leonard couldn't be in the race, but standing by for us as we go into race 2. Ellis Johnson will start up front. Adam Barker in second. Rudolph Gunther and Simon Zierk on the second row. Andrew Lau, David Gallant have the third. Nick Sorensen, Roman Berg on the fourth. Bradley Lovings, Max Gunther, and Mike Doling round out the field. JR, you're definitely right. Those 87s are a lot of fun, but they can keep you on your toes. A whole lot of power, not a lot of grip. Well, this is definitely interesting with Ellis Johnson starting on the front row. He can't beat him on the straights, but we know he can beat him on the mountain. If he can keep it in front of Barker till the first run up the mountain, well, it could be his race to lose. And here we go. Ellis fires immediately out of the turn, and the green flag flies. Race 2 underway. Remember, Ellis running that eye down 4 setup, so down the straightaway, he has a huge disadvantage, but it didn't seem to matter in race 1. Adam Barker in second. He has a run. Can he get there? No. Rudolph Gunther in third. Gunther was fast throughout the first race. Rudolph goes for second. Adam outbrakes him into the turn. All the fans standing alongside waiting for sheet metal to fly so they can get their souvenirs. Bradley Lovings did not take the grid. Ellis opening up a gap, up the mountain, now coming back down. Rudolph Gunther still looking for an opportunity to make a move on the Mercedes. Oh, Rudolph gets the wall coming out of the turn. Ellis does have a bit of a gap coming down the straightaway, but this is where the Lambo is the weakest. Adam closes quite a bit of the gap, but Ellis out front heads for the final turn. Looks like he is going to lead lap 1. Simon Zierk now in fourth as we've got a lot of battling. A lot of these drivers will attempt to set up to make the move on the straightaway or into that first turn up the mountain. And surprisingly, no issues on lap 1. Adam now 1 1/4 seconds behind Ellis. Rudolph still right on his bumper. David Gallant closing the gap on Simon. Race 1 winner Nick Sorensen now up into 6th, looking for his move up the mountain. Ellis continues to lead down the mountain. Rudolph has lost a little bit of ground on Adam, but Simon, he's got trouble on his bumper. David Gallant, Nick Sorensen right there. Andrew Lau closing in from behind. Roman Berg back in 8th. Mike Dolling in 9th. Max in 10th. Only 3 1/4 seconds separate Max Gunther in 10th from David Gallant. Gallant's in the grass, Simon's around. Looks like Gallant picked up a slowdown. He's still trying to get it burned off. And that is shaking up the running order. We'll take a look in a moment. Looks like Gallant is still going to try and stretch it into the mountain. Nick Sorensen managed to slip up into 5th and is now looking for the pass on Roman Berg. Mike Dolling tries to make a move on Lau, and it looks like Gallant cleared his slowdown as Sorensen goes to 5th. All right, let's see what happened. Oh, Gallant had a big run, gets into Simon. Gallant goes through the sand. Simon goes off-road. Well, Gallant has recovered from it, but Simon is now back into 10th. Simon does have a lot of ground to make up. He is 3 seconds behind Max Gunther at the moment. That definitely shook up that gap as well. From 4th to 10th is, or from 4th to 9th rather, is now 4 seconds. But Andrew Lau, Mike Dolling, and Max Gunther all right there, nose to tail, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Rudolph Gunther currently sits in 3rd, about a second off Barker's back bumper. But Ellis Johnson has opened up a 2.9 second lead. Nick Sorensen right on Gallant as they head up the mountain. We saw him make the move on Roman coming up the mountain. Will he do it to Gallant as well? Gallant obviously has a ton of speed down the straightaway as we saw a moment ago. Had so much he couldn't avoid Simon. Ellis, meanwhile, out front, just continuing to pull away. When that final corner keeps costing Rudolph a little bit of ground coming onto the backstretch. He has got to maintain the slipstream on the Mercedes of Adam Barker if he wants a shot at him. Nick Sorensen in 5th on Gallant. Again, the Porsche does not have the straight line speed of the Mustang. He will have to make his move on the turns up the mountain. Roman Berg is... Something is wrong. He is having connection problems. Andrew Lau right behind him going up the mountain. Lau has got to be open. That smooths out. As Max trying to make the move on Mike Doling. Side by side as they start up the mountain. Doling sends it deeper and pulls back ahead. I don't call Mike the Minister of Defense for nothing. Rudolph Gunther in 3rd, just set the fastest lap last time by. 2:05.53. The track temperature holding about where it was in the first race. No, it's actually a little bit cooler. Race 1 was 134 degrees, now 123. Rudolph may be setting the fastest laps, but he can't get back into the slipstream of Adam Barker. He could lose more ground. Meanwhile, Ellis Johnson out front by 2.9, now 3 seconds. Adam had a bit of an off track in the final turn. David Gallant in 4th is about 4 seconds back from Gunther and Barker, but he is closing the gap at the moment. And he's bringing Nick Sorensen with him. Sorensen is yet to try and make a move here. But he keeps peeking to the inside. Andrew Lau about 4 seconds back from that battle. Still has Roman Berg, Mike Doling, Max Gunther right there with him. Any mistake by Lau will catch the other 3. Ellis did set the fastest lap last time, 2:05.34. Ellis is running that high downforce set, but it is working. Sorensen is going for the move on Gallant. Gallant outbreaks him into the turn. Interesting choice of where to make his move. Max Gunther, meanwhile, making the move on Roman Berg. Max now up into 8. Coming out of turn 1, down the stretch, now has to run down Mike Dolling again. Ellis set an even faster lap last time, 205.24. We mentioned it during race 1, around lap 5 or 6 is where where the tires are optimal, and they get their fastest lap. But by lap 10, those tires are melting. Max has caught back up to Mike Dolling as they come down the mountain. Well, right there at the front of that group, Roman not far behind, nor is Simon. Simon is closing back up since that early incident. He has been on the attack. Meanwhile, Ellis continues to lead and extend his lead, now 4.1 seconds. And an even faster lap, 205.04. Andrew Lau has had a problem behind. Roman Berg is caught up in the final turn. Andrew Lau heading off into that final turn. Just a little too much power. He snaps around. Looked like Roman Berg may have done the exact same thing. Just a bit too much power on exit. Both drivers get that inside wall. Don't forget, folks, if you've missed any of this season's races, you can find them all and many, many more on our YouTube channel. And all of this season has been on YouTube in 4K. Andrew Lau has had another problem. He has taken it in. It looks like Lau just turned it around and drove it to pit road. Ellis is the first driver to break the 205 mark. 204.81. He now has a 4.6 second lead over Barker. Rudolph Gunther has slipped back now 2.5 seconds in third. Roman Berg has brought it to pit road. Will he be able to get enough fuel if he stops now to make it to the end? David Gallant still in fourth and Nick still in his bumper in fifth. Mike Dolling currently in sixth. Max Gunther in seventh. Still hasn't found a way around the Minister of Defense. Simon Zierk now up into eighth. Roman in ninth on pit road. It does appear Andrew Lau is out of the race. And let's see if we can get another word with Jason. Hey, Jason, it's Doug. You got me?
Yep, I got you, Doug.
I have to ask, we heard all the drivers giving Ellis a lot of crap about using the high downforce setup here today. How many of them are regretting that now?
Yeah, it's the high downforce, I believe, is allowing Ellis to use every bit of speed he can in the mountain area. For some reason, the Mercedes just can't keep up down the straights with Adam, so I was a little surprised to see that.
That has been a shock. Adam, the first couple laps was gaining ground on the straightaways, but since then, he just can't gain any ground coming down the straights, and Ellis is just checking out.
I noticed for our first race winner as well, it's been awful difficult for Nick to get around David.
It definitely has been. We saw, and he may have it here. They're actually side by side down the straight. David may outbreak him into the turn, but man, it's close. Nick is had a hard time getting by, and has wisely not tried to make a move up the mountain, but it may come down to that.
Yeah, I believe David definitely knows how to make that car as wide as it possibly can go to use the entire track.
Well, he has definitely been doing that this morning, and it's been a wild one so far. Do you think Ellis, he's still got to make a stop? Can he hold on and get the win? He almost got in race one.
I think Ellis has got a really good shot. The biggest challenge is those last couple curbs coming around that last turn. That's what threw him off in the first race. As long as he can avoid getting too much of that curb, I think he's got a pretty good shot at it. Continuing where he's at now. I'd look for him to take his pit stop probably in about 8 to 10 minutes, right around the 18 to 16 minute mark, and that should allow him then to continue to keep his tires warm, since the track temp seems to be coming down a bit.
It definitely does. Well, man, thanks for your input. Heck of a race so far.
All right, thank you, Doug.
Well, you heard from Jason. We do expect it. Hopefully, Ellis can pull this off. It would be his first win in GT. Oh, he goes wide out of one. No slowdown, thankfully. It would be Ellis's first win in GT3 NSS competition. He did pull off second last week at Suzuka, and had a heck of a run in race one, and Roman has had a problem. There's Roman coming up the mountain. Oh, just loses the back end and slams the wall. Ouch. That was a big hit for Roman. Ellis continues to have a heck of a run. His lead now 6 seconds over Adam Barker. Rudolph Gunther another 6 seconds back in third. David Gallant about 4.5 seconds back in fourth, with Sorensen still right there. Sorensen surprisingly has been attacking on the straightaway. We haven't seen him try and make the move up or down the mountain yet, but as this race goes on, he may not have a choice. Mike Dalling is in 6th with Max right on his bumper. They're about 2.6 seconds behind Gallant and Sorensen, but they are closing in, and it does appear Gallant is trying to break that slipstream. That Porsche does not have the same straight line speed that the Ford does. If he can break that slipstream, he can shake Nick off. Nick's gonna go, no, he just steps out. He may be trying to trick David into making a mistake. If you gotta make a move here at Mount Panorama, I'd rather make it coming up the hill than down. But Nick may have no other choice than to make it coming down or build enough of a run on the straight. As you see, as they come down the mountain, there are points where one of the wheels just does not have contact with the ground due to the dips in the apex of the turns. Ellis continues to lead. He just set the fastest lap, 2:04.6. And here's the interesting part. Ellis has David Gallant is in. Max Gunther is in. Will we see tire changes on this hot track? That slow drive down pit road. Gallant hits his stall, Gunther hits his. Neither car goes up on the jacks, it'll be fuel only. Ellis is still the only driver under the 2:05 mark. Adam Barker's fastest lap so far, 2:05.18. And I stand corrected, Max Gunther has run a 2:04.89. While he still sits on David Gallant's back bumper. Rudolph Gunther still sitting in 3rd. Nick Sorensen now in 4th, and you heard him during his race 1 interview. He was gonna play a little fuel strategy to pick up positions here. And he does continue to stay out. Mike Dalling now has some breathing room as well, but he is losing ground to Nick, and Simon Zierk is bringing it in. Let's keep an eye and see if Simon comes in for tires, or will it be a fuel-only stop for him? It's likely most of the top 5 will take fuel only, but the guys back behind might take some tires. And yes, Simon is up. Tires on, fuel in. Simon is away. Ellis out front. His lead continues to grow. Adam now 7.3 seconds back. Rudolph in third at the moment. Sorensen in fourth is closing the gap rapidly on Rudolph. He's now less than 3.7 seconds back. Mike Dolling, 3.5 seconds back. The leader is in. Ellis Johnson is in for his fuel stop. Do not expect him to take tires as we have clouds over the track. Ellis hits his stall. Will he go up? No, it'll be fuel only for the leader. Adam Barker now in the lead for the moment. Ellis on his way back out. Rudolph in second. Sorensen in third. Continuing to close in. Sorensen now has the fastest lap. 2:04.54. Rudolph less than 3 seconds, Nick less than 3 seconds behind Rudolph. Ellis now in fifth. The top four is not pitted. Nick Sorensen blasting around this track, now less than 2 seconds behind Rudolph. Nick Sorensen trying to make up as much ground as possible before his pit stop. He had been battling David Gallant. Gallant already completed his stop. Sorensen hasn't. Adam Barker is in. That is almost guaranteed to be a fuel-only stop. Rudolph is in. Sorensen is in. Mike Dolling is going to stretch it. He stays out. And Rudolph Gunther has picked up a black flag on pit road entry. Ellis Johnson now back into second. The question is, will Sorensen be out before Gallant gets here? Sorensen is on his way. Barker is on his way. And it looks like Nick's strategy paid off. He comes out ahead of Gallant. Mike Dolling headed up the mountain, has the lead until he goes in. Ellis in second, gave up a little bit of time on pit road. Barker now only 6.5 seconds back. Nick Sorensen in third, about 9.6 seconds back from Barker. He is closing in. David Gallant about 6 seconds behind Sorensen with Max on his bumper. Simon Zierk back in 7th. I think the only driver to take tires. He's now 14.5 seconds behind Max. And Rudolf Gunther, after his penalty, has dropped to 8th. Mike Dolling is in. So far, Simon Zierk, the only driver to take tires, as Ellis is on his way to reclaim the lead. Will Dolling take fuel only? He does not go up. It'll be a fuel only stop for Mike. Ellis Johnson back in the lead by 6.6 seconds over Barker. Nick Sorensen now in 3rd, 8.9 seconds back. Mike Dolling comes back out in 4th. Max is in 5th. Gallant right on his bumper in 6th. Simon Zierk in 7th. Rudolph now back in 8th. Roman Berg, Andrew Lau, Bradley Lovings out early. Fourteen and a half minutes left to go in race 2. Ellis now has a 7.9, now an 8-second lead. All he's got to do from here is play it safe and be consistent. Adam Barker currently in 2nd, about 7.7 seconds back. He does gain some ground on the straightaway, but as soon as they hit the mountain, Ellis is gone. Nick Sorensen now 7.7 seconds behind Barker and gaining ground. Mike Dolling, Max Gunther, David Gallant, 4th, 5th, and 6th, nose to tail. Mike Dolling at the moment the biggest mover of the morning of 7 spots. And thus far today, nobody has passed the Minister of Defense, which surprises absolutely nobody. Will Max be the first to pull it off? McLaren is definitely handling the turns up and down the mountain really well. Max gains a little bit of ground, but not as much as the Porsche gains on the BMW or the Mustang. But the Lambo has definitely been the dominant car all morning. An 8.7 second lead as he comes across the line. Nick Sorensen is still mounting one heck of a charge. He may actually pull this off. He's 6.9 seconds behind Barker. I said it before, I'll say it again. I do not enjoy racing at this track, but I love broadcasting it. It always puts on one heck of a show. We have seen it all morning long. And we'll have some great shorts on YouTube in the next 24 hours from today's race. Man, Ellis is just slamming down the mountain. I don't think we have seen that Lambo lose grip at all today. There was the one incident in race 1, but race 2, that thing has just gripped it and ripped it. Simon Zierk still sits 15.5 seconds back in 7th. Rudolph 22.7 seconds back in 8th. A heartbreaking morning for Rudolph, who ran in the top 3 until pit stops. Nick now less than 6 seconds behind Barker. Oh, Max is on the attack. And he clears. Max Gunther passes the Minister of Defense to take 4th. But look at this. Dolling's going to fight back. Can't do it. Gallant takes advantage. And David Gallant back to 5th. And in one straightaway, Mike Dolling loses 2 spots. Max Gunther now to 4th, 8.5 seconds behind Sorensen. Adam Barker in 2nd, now 10.5 seconds behind Ellis. Somehow, Ellis is getting faster and faster. That cloud cover has brought the track temperature down dramatically. It's now down to 116. Now 115 degrees, down from 124 when they started. That cooler track definitely benefiting the Lambo. Nick Sorensen back in 3rd, still marching toward Barker. He is 5.6 seconds back at the moment. Max Gunther beginning to attack, now just 8.25 seconds back. Unlikely Max is going to have the time to get there. But does Sorensen have enough time to close the 5.4 second gap on Barker. Coming up the mountain, Nick's gap closes dramatically, now less than 5 seconds. Meanwhile, Ellis in the Lambo is just checking out. His lead now almost 11 seconds. Oh, Adam kissed the wall coming off the mountain. We've seen Adam kiss that wall a couple of times. Doesn't look like any damage to the car, just a few scratches. Just little kisses to the wall. But it did allow Nick to close the gap even further. It's now 4.3 seconds. Nick just set the fastest lap of the race by a lot, 2:03.92. The only driver this morning to break the 2:04 mark. He is 4.20 seconds behind Barker. Sorensen is on maximum attack this morning. And at the moment, he's even faster than the leader. He's now less than 3 seconds behind Barker. If he gets close enough by the bottom of the mountain, he will pick up the slipstream. And the moment Sorensen picks up the slipstream, it could be over for Adam Barker. Barney does not wave the white flag, so 2 to go. Nick Sorensen definitely has the time to get to him. He has Barker in his sights now. Last time by, Nick's lap time was even faster. .53. He is less or just over a second behind Barker. The 9-time champ has definitely been off his game this season. Wessel Stevens has had a dominant season, but Wessel not here this morning will help Adam in the points. And Sorensen has caught up. What a charge! Meanwhile, Ellis Johnson heads toward the final turn, should see the white flag this time. Barney waves the white flag one more time around for Ellis. What in the world? Sorensen's on pit road. He must not have got enough fuel on his stop. Max Gunther is going to take third. Wow, what a catastrophic end to the morning for Nick Sorensen, who ran down over 6 seconds, ran Adam Barker down, was getting ready to take second. He has taken a quick splash of fuel, comes out in 6th. As Ellis comes down the mountain the final time. Ellis was definitely the fastest car in race 1, but had issues and had a big setback. But he comes back out in race 2 and just dominates. He has a 14.5-second lead. As he heads for the final turn, driving the high downforce set that everybody said he'd be regretting. He doesn't regret it now. Ellis Johnson gets his first GT3 NSS win at Mount Panorama. Adam Barker holds on to come home in second. And Max Gunther manages to hold on for third. And before we talk to the top 3, let's get a quick word with Nick Sorensen. Nick, before we talk to the top 3, I had to ask, how short on fuel were you?
1 lap.
That was still
about 3 liters short.
That was still one heck of a run. I think the gap was 6.5 seconds after pit stops, and you ran Adam down quick, setting the fastest lap of the morning, too.
Well, David, he just drove great. I couldn't get around him, so he defended perfectly. And yeah, if I was able to get by David, then maybe I had a shot getting up there, and then, of course, made a mistake on pit road. So it is what it is. It's a fun day.
Still a heck of a run, buddy. Congrats.
Thanks.
Let's talk to our top 3, starting with Max Gunther. Max, congratulations. You come home in third. You had an eventful race.
Roman? I'm Max.
No.
Hi, Doug.
Max, you came home in third. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I think so. I don't know.
You did.
I think Nick went off to the pits. He lost fuel, or he hadn't enough fuel.
Well, you came home in third. That lucky late race incident for Nick put you in third, but man, it was a heck of a race, and you had a bit of a eventful one. You were battling pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, it was nice. I really enjoyed it, especially against Mike. It's always fun, but he just went a tiny bit wide, and then I had him. It was beautiful.
It definitely was, and you were the first driver to pass the Minister of Defense this morning, so great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Adam Barker comes home in second. Adam, I have to ask, before Nick hit pit road, did you resign yourself to losing second?
I was definitely a bit worried there, but no, I'd have fought to the end. We only had one lap left, so I knew I knew he was pitting. He'd said he hadn't got enough fuel, but yeah, that Porsche was super quick, but I'd have given a good fight putting the Mercedes in the right spots, but yeah, crazy quick from Nick. I just went round not particularly quickly and just missed all the walls, so that was my plan.
Well, that is the key here, man. Great run this morning, a great finish.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And for the first time ever in victory lane, Ellis Johnson. Ellis, everybody told you you'd regret running that high downforce setup. I bet they disagree now.
Passing on the straights was impossible. I was literally losing time to the car in front. It was kind of just like a get in first, stay in first setup. But it was fun.
Well, it was obvious in the first race you had all the speed and you would be the car to beat, but obviously problems were a huge setback. But man, race 2, that was just dominating. You walked away from them. In fact, as you would start up the mountain, you could watch the gap just increase rapidly.
I think that's why I like that setup so much. I definitely learned from my mistake in race 1, getting greedy. So just keep it cool, finish the race.
Well, man, it definitely worked out. Your first NSS win, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He sounds a wee bit happy this morning, and I don't blame him one bit. Folks, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget, tonight, 9:30 Eastern, the SMR guys are back in the 87s. We're going back in time a bit. We will see you guys here tonight. Have a good one, y'all.